It goes back to just, getting a level of consistency. Some of that is, with Brad back, um, you know, really kind of leaning into what we have and how we can play. And hopefully, this is us going forward. You can never anticipate the things that could happen, but, he's healthy, he looks good. And so hopefully we can kind of develop a little bit more chemistry with our core group.
Was he able to practice today?
He had a family dynamic, but we didn't do much. He was partial participant, but it was kind of a very light day, and part of that's because the schedule that we do have and the part of the season now where we just have to be careful of not doing too much. A lot of things have happened, some teams that are going through it. Last thing we want to do is kind of overexpose guys to the point where you're exposing yourself to injury.
What good things do you want to continue that you did in the New York game? What good things that you all did do you want to continue against Orlando?
Well, offensively, our pace was good. I thought we were aggressive. Shot the three well, of course. Much like the other night we played New York. Very similar looks. We just stepped up and knocked them down. I thought we played with a little bit more force, especially in that second half, which is a good sign. But the ball was moving. Guys are playing. I thought we had great pace up the floor, and our execution was clean. I thought we did a better job with our game plan discipline. The runoff guys, the pick and roll component was good. And one piece that hurt us, and it's a strength of New York's, is the offensive rebounding.
What have you seen from Monte recently on the offensive end?
He's been really good. It's funny. I thought you were going to ask me about the defense because he honestly has been one of the guys who's really stepped up in that department. I know I've said it, and I'll say it again, that he does a terrific job with his game plan discipline, his KYP discipline. He just plays with a level of force for a guy who's looked at as undersized. Puts himself in the right position, and I really think he impacts the ball better than teams want to give him credit for. But to your question, though, the offense, I think it's starting to click for him. You can see the synergy with him and KP. Obviously, him, Brad, and Kuz have been good. But, high assist, low turnover. That's kind of his calling card. But he keeps us organized, and I think it's, him, Kuz, even Denny, to a lesser extent, have contributed to the pace that we're playing with right now.
Everybody available for tomorrow?
Yes.
I guess just, you guys have talked about it for so long, we hope to get healthy and things like that. Is the mood different now that you guys are finally healthy, and knock on wood, can say that way?
I don't know if it is different. I mean, there's some relief that you finally, get guys back and available. But I don't see any, maybe there's a little bit more urgency, which I think is an important piece. You're pretty much past the halfway point, but still a lot of games to play. So we want to be able to make up some ground, but to do that, we have to play with a level of urgency and a level of consistency. And hopefully that game in New York will kind of be a jumping off point for this group.
What kinds of things do you want to disrupt with
Well,
Orlando?
with their size, works both for them on offense and defense. They've got positionless guys who can play off the bounce. Obviously, that's going to be spearheaded by, 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗪, as well as 𝗦𝗢𝗢𝗪. And those two guys get downhill and play with a level of force. Their size is tough to match. So, being able to protect the paint, get those two under control specifically. But on the flip side, they're going to do a lot of switching. And, we've seen it at times be a problem for us. So, continue to move the ball, move bodies, try not to stagnate as much as we've seen in the past.
Wes, go ahead. Did Rui practice today?
Yes.
What was this kind of the general focus of practice today?
Some cleanup stuff, some things that we've seen a little bit of slippage in. Some of it was just muscle memory, a lot of shooting, and did a little bit on Orlando. But it was more about us today.
Just from, how nitpicky or not nitpicky are you when you're trying to show film and say, okay, well, this is a mistake we need to correct? Do you show, try and show everything? Do you try and show just
You can't show everything.
Right.
I think sometimes it is very poignant, and sometimes it's theme-based, where if this is an issue, you can show 3 or 4 of the same clips, and they may manifest themselves differently. But the end being the issue, I think it's important to really hammer that message. And sometimes it's a cleanup clip, where this is teaching, this is cleanup. or it's an area of just basic slippage, where hey, we got to be more attentive to this thing. I don't think it's one and the same all the time. There's different reasons why you show certain clips, and sometimes it's just just for conversation. If we see ourselves in this situation, what are we doing? Just to see, hey, where are we with our overall basketball acumen? Have we retained some of the things we talked about? And do we have a situational awareness?
Talking about both what he does on court and the fact that he is a young, hungry player, what does Jordan bring to this organization?
His energy and spirit are true. He wants to be out there, wants to play, but he also gets where he is at this point in his career. He's still, on the cusp of carving out a niche. And I think, these minutes that he's gotten this season are really going to help propel him into that next layer. But his energy and his approach are infectious. He's always in a good mood, always willing to work, to do the little things. It shows on the floor. His ability to impact winning it. He'll do what it takes. Sometimes that's a little bit more on the scoring side. Most nights it's because he's going to be locked in and defend at a high level.
What do you imagine that pitch could be one day?
He's going to be a solid two-way player. I think he's got to anchor himself in the defense. He's got to be an expert in what we're doing. He's got to be able to play with high energy, play with purpose. But his size and physicality give him a chance that he can impact, whether it's at the point in pick and rolls, whether it's off the ball and catch and shoots. He does a pretty good job of handling those type situations. So that versatility at least gives you options.
I think definitely take a step forward. We have to start winning all kinds of games, not only the ones that we're supposed to win, but we need to start winning games that we're not supposed to win, like we did the other night in New York. And having Brad back makes a huge difference, obviously. I think we play more discipline when he's out there. It's because he's making the right plays, and then nobody else is allowed to not make the right play, not make the right pass. So he kind of sets the standard, and I know it's maybe harder to see, but us as players, we feel that on the court when he's out there. We're so glad to have him back and ready to start some winning streak now.
Is it something vocal that Brad does to bring that level of focus, or is it just his presence that makes you feel that you need to?
Yeah, I think he just sets the standard. Like the other night, he comes back, it's his first game back. A normal player would come back all anxious, want to do too much, try to make up for the lost time. He came back, he's just Brad Beal, making the plays, playing the right way, and that shows he's experienced. That shows he's poised as a player, and how he sees the game, which I love about him. He's a super smart player. So again, I think a lot of people don't see that, but us as players, we definitely see that and feel that, and as I said, he just kind of set the standard for us. So we have to keep that standard up when he's out there, and when he's not out there.
And against Orlando, what kinds of aspects of the last game do you want to carry over?
I think it's going to be a completely different game because they have now their full roster back probably. So they're going to be better. I expect them to be better. We'll see. We'll prepare for them well. We don't care if they're expecting to win or not. We have to win this game, and we're going to go out there and do it.
What kinds of things, did you do well in New York that you want to do well against Orlando?
I think our energy on the road. Now we're playing at home, so obviously we're going to have the home crowd and everything, but I think just the way we played on the road, we have to have that type of energy anywhere. And I think it's a little bit of New York, MSG, kind of that, and the history obviously that I have with New York. Maybe that kind of also got all of us going. And sometimes it's a little bit harder to play against maybe lower end teams there's not as much at stake, So we have to make sure 100% that we're on from the beginning and take care of business.
Kristaps, when both Brad and Kyle are out on the court, how does that change how you are guarded?
It definitely takes a lot of pressure off of me. The other night they did tried to double a couple times Brad. They doubled him, and as soon as the double team was coming, he already kicked the ball out, and we were just swing, and got an wide open shot. So I think it's, again, if he's doing that, then we all are supposed to make that next pass, make that right play. And if they double team me, then either 𝗙𝗢𝗟 or Brad's going to be open. If they double team Brad, then somebody else is going to be open. So I think, yeah, we have to keep emphasizing on making the right play for the next guy, for our teammate. And I think that's when things click offensively, and that's when our defensive energy is way better.
How much less often are you double teamed when Brad and 𝗙𝗢𝗟 are out there? Do you expect to be double teamed less often?
I do expect less often, definitely, especially when Brad is, for example, the guy who passes the ball inside. Unless they're all the way like on a string defensively, like, I don't know, the Spurs usually are, for example, with Coach Popovich. Like, I don't know why I mentioned them, but they're always kind of like playing defense, like 5 guys are moving at the same time, and unless they're doing that, then they cannot just leave Brad open, and so yeah, I expect less of that, of course. But if it's there, then we're gonna find the open man.